All right, boom. Welcome everybody to another weekly batch analysis. So this is week 37. I decided to make a few little changes to how I'm going to analyze actually. And these changes are mostly going to be, as you can see, I have hidden the results, and I also removed it from my Notion right here. The reason for that is I simply don't want to have any preceding bias going into these trades because I have noticed that even though I'm trying to actively avoid it, I have noticed that when I know that something is going to be a win, I tend to look at it more favorably, and when it's a loss, I tend to look at it more critically, right? And ultimately, that shouldn't be there, really. I'm just judging each trade based on the same rules. So having any prior bias going into the trade is simply not good. And I know this might sound like something very minor or almost insignificant, but I really believe that I cannot leave any stone unturned. And whenever I have an idea of how to do any part of the process better, I'm definitely going to do that. So, yeah, this time I have what is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 trades. Well, quite a bit. I'm not sure if I took all of them, but quite a few trades. Let's see how I performed against the rules. And as always, let's start with last week just to check what happened. Looks like I had 3 trades. Took all of them. Yeah, okay. Followed my rules, was very patient. Cool. Here I forced a dirty trade. That was in a stage 1. So this is the high time frame over here. And yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Like, especially, like, this would be the stage 1, right? That's what I clearly see. Made sense to look over here. And now, like, do I have to wait for this to break higher to follow, or can I already follow here? I mean, at least I would like to rule out some kind of redistribution, right? Which happened over here. There's a clear high, and then it pulls back. I would need to see this on the lower time frame to see if there was like an actual wave of selling or not. But basically, the moment some supply would show up and demand breaks up higher once again, I think it's okay to follow it. So it's not too bad, but I see why I would say that this is not a trend. Maybe I would like to see the reaccumulation of this push, and then I could get involved once it reaccumulates. But yeah, I mean, it's not the worst. And here I had a trade where I didn't reduce risk on time. Yeah, I mean, I should have. I should have definitely. 100%. I should have reduced risk here, so that was a mistake. Results over plus 3.4, and had I traded perfectly, I would not have taken one loss and would be plus 4.6. All right, that's pretty nice. So this week. As always, I'm going to go into my instructions. I read them every day, but yeah, it's very important for myself. So, gonna go over it again. Focus on the rules, not the R. Yes, this is also why I made this little refinement, just to make sure that I focus on the rules and not the results. So important. Capital preservation, number one goal, and rules force me into trading and taking risk. I'm really trying to be patient with my trades and let them come to me, and I'm trying to, uh, you know, weed out as many traits as possible, basically to have the sniper mentality. But yeah, checking news and creating alerts 30 minutes prior, man, I've struggled with this in the past, but now I have never missed this, not even once, because I go into my weekly worksheet that forces me to do all of these preparations, and I never miss. So that's awesome. Very effective solution. Curate a watch list and create price alerts, plus put watch list. Yes, that's part of it. I need to fill all of this out in the worksheet. Works great. Do not trade stage 1. I'm going to try my best not to. Look for trending markets on the 4 hour or daily. That's kind of a new one that I included, and I think this could be a really nice filter. I pretty much use the 4 hour for my direction, but I want them to be trending, right? And ideally, the market that I trade would also be trending on the daily. Doesn't have to, but it's good when it does. Trades strong stage 2 reaccumulation. Yep, don't trade inconsistent moves. I actually applied this quite a few times this week and avoided a lot of losses, especially moves that happened after news. Simply if they were inconsistent, like too much of a pump, I didn't follow that move, and it was good that I didn't because it didn't have any follow through. It was just one insane buy, that was very inconsistent by someone. And yeah, after that, the market continued to be choppy just like it was before. And evaluate liquidity. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get into the trades then. As you can see, I have no idea if this is a win or loss, so we can start evaluating. So here we are on gold on the 1 hour. I would say it's very clear that this is in a beautiful, beautiful trend. I would argue that this was a flush, most definitely. It's a reaccumulation, right? There was some low, reaccumulated over here, created a beautiful stage one, then broke higher. This is MMB1, and this can really go much, much higher easily. This is great context. So here we are on the 6 minute. The box is over here. So we have that stage one, right? And this is how it reaches out of it with big momentum. I mean, this inefficiency over here as it breaks out of these like previous highs somewhere is insane. Big momentum, pulls back into the rising 1020 and looks to continue. So of course my expectation is bullish here. Here we are on the 1 minute. This is a 10-second entry. All right, so we have a strong stage two, beautiful stage two, absolutely beautiful. This is how I want my trend to look like. Loses its momentum cycle, breaks the EMAs, right, and starts going sideways, creates a stage one, and then has a strong breakout out of it into a new range, pulls back into the rising 1020. Now I go to my 10-second using the 1 minute as my B. Here we have very, very strong stage two, very one-sided. Big candles in my direction, leaving behind inefficiency. Small candles against me. Shallow pullbacks, beautiful. Then it flushes out, and here it builds up a double MB. I would say this is MB1, this is MB2. So this trade is, in my opinion, absolutely amazing. This looks so, so good. There's an argument to be made that this is a little bit weird, but honestly, I don't think it is. Uh, this is like a nice little fractal stage one. Let me do this. Yep. And this is the first MMB, and together this creates the DMB. Size-wise, first of all, I can simply mark up the last move, which is this. Yeah. So this is most definitely a DMB. And it's very similar size too, but I don't mind actually encapsulating the entire stage one here because this is essentially my setup anyway. And yeah, I think this trade is perfect. So I'm gonna label it up right now. There we go. Strong momentum. Well, you know what? I'm actually just gonna start calling these. I'm gonna evaluate the trend on the C time frame. That's the most important. So this is most definitely strong trend. So here we have good momentum, 100%, and strong trend as well, because that's yet another C. And here on the V, what do we have? We have stage one breakout on good momentum, and we have here we have a perfect entry. Love it. All right. So overall, I'm going to evaluate this trade with perfection. Perfect. Okay, and let's actually see how I manage. Now I can. Now I have evaluated the trade against my rules. I have no idea what the result of this trade is, and I can now check how I actually managed. So let's get into this week, and we have Monday over here. You can see I had no red news on that day. On my watch list, there were gold longs, NAS longs, and some World Liberty bullshit shorts. And what is this? Ah, yeah, I see. I'm just showing what my reasoning was to look for shorts on this market. And I mean, I think this is pretty clear. So, yeah, what do we have here? I think it's this trade, right? Yes, it's this trade. So this is how I managed. So it goes a little bit my way. It doesn't give me enough strength to break even, and pretty much instantly gives me a -1. So this is a loss. But overall, I really think this trade was great, and I will take it again anytime. So how do I do this? Everything was perfect. So yeah, that deserves a perfect. So moving on into the next trade. Is that on the same day? Yes, it is. So, oh, I actually did take a short here? Okay, I see. So this is the whole chart, right? The entire chart. all of its history. So what do we have? We have some kind of stage 1 over here, and we have a breakout higher, and now it starts reaccumulating, right? And it comes back into the same level, creates a stage 1 yet again, and from there breaks higher. So I think it makes total sense why I would follow along here. Actually, it's a short because it's inverted, but it makes sense why I would follow this direction, basically. And now I take a look at the 30 minutes here. So what do I have? I have some kind of stage 1, like a clear resistance over here, and a breakout on very good momentum, and a pullback into the rising 1020. And you know what? Just looking at this, I know this is, well, this is a V. This isn't actually a C. So, honestly, I would much rather see it break higher over here because I would basically like to rule out distribution first. I would wait for this. I would expect all of this to be for potential redistribution purposes to go lower, and only after the sells show up and strong selling comes in, only after demand shows me that it overpowers that yet again, that's when I should follow. So I really think this was too early. And the overall setup here, it's a 5-minute entry. This stage 2 is very nice, very strong, and then it reaccumulates over here, right? And this entry by itself is, in my opinion, beautiful. It's really, really nice. So if I mark that up, so I would have MB1 over here, and I would have MB2 over here. And that's beautiful. That's really, really nice. So yeah, the E I like. The C is okay. Well, actually, like I'm saying the V should go higher, right? That would also make the C probably print some kind of high, maybe pull back and create an MMB and go higher, right? So that's what I would ideally like to say. So I'm actually going to say that I was too early here. I should have at least ruled out redistribution. But the entry itself was really beautiful. So, mm, what am I going to say here? So, I'm just going to say too early. Okay, same here. I'm going to say too early. Rule, rule out redistribution. Yep. Yep, rule out redistribution. And entry itself is perfect. If this exact same thing happened 1 MMB higher on the V, I would be very happy with it. But right now, I'm not buying it. So I'm going to call this a mistake, ultimately. Okay, and that's this crypto trade. So how did I manage? So, I see. So I was trying to set my TP to 0 and get out of this for a break even because, well, it kind of lost its setup, but I actually don't get that. Oh, it's a break even. It's a break even. Okay, I see. Well, that's cool. I thought it's a loss. Nice. So very good management here, but the trade overall was not good. So this was a break even. I'm gonna call it a mistake. A mistake Y. Too early. Yeah, too early. So 60 minutes, well, not 60 minutes, but context, stage 1, and I'm gonna also create the too early tag here. I think that's a tag I'm gonna be wanting to use. Well, hopefully not often, but it's a tag that makes sense. 6 minutes, same stuff. Too early, too early. I'm wondering if I should create one that says rule out redistribution. I'm probably gonna say it. Rule out redis. Okay. Yep. And 1 minute was perfect. I mean, entry was perfect, right? And management-wise, it was a BE from below, and it was perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna write here. Should have first ruled out redistribution on the high time frame. Okay. Cool. Moving on into the next trade. So here we have NAS 100, and I know that NAS is overall, like on the daily and weekly, quite bullish. And we have some kind of pullback here. Here, demand starts going in, but comes all the way back. So I'm assuming, well, this whole thing really looks like an accumulation schematic, right? Where this is the sign of strength. Now we go for a final spring, and now this should be the markup. But, well, we first need to reach out of here, right? And the moment we reach out of here, we get a huge, absolutely huge sell, which kind of proves to me that it just grabbed liquidity, and this really is part of the stage one. And I would feel much, much more comfortable trading once price comes out of here and reaccumulates in a consistent way. Then I would love to trade it. This, in my opinion, was once again too early, and this this is bad. I'm gonna create some notes here. Looks like a lick grab. A huge sell-off after lick grab. So yeah, this is going to be too early. I can already tell right now. So it's gonna be stage one pretty much. Well, tough to say if it's a stage one. Like this whole thing could probably. Oh, what just happened? I think I could take this whole thing and say that it's a stage one. Bro, what is going on here? I want this. Okay, thank you. Yeah, boom. Stage one. I'm really failing today. Alright, let's take a look at the 6 minute. Honestly, man, this trade seems so forced. Yeah, this is really, really forced. I mean, I understand why I looked here, right? Strong stage 2, which qualifies me to start following this. Here it reaccumulates. Okay, nice, nice. All of this still looks good. We have a clear containment line and everything. And then we have MB1, MB2, right? We break higher, we have a new direction. That's cool. And then we pull back and liquidate some stuff over here. And then we create a stage 1. And from that stage 1, we break higher and create the first MMB. I understand what I'm doing here, and it does make sense, but honestly, I'm not much of a big fan. Even like this high was really just a tiny, tiny little bit above, so kind of scary. And this has been going on for a while already. This is not like I would say that momentum fizzled out here. Momentum fizzled out, and honestly, these moves that happened inside were not as strong to convince me that I should be taking this trade. So ultimately, I think I was too early here. And if we take a look at the E, so we have some kind of breakout into a new range here. Very strong buy button, consistent pullback, and then we have MB1, MB2, right? It's decent, especially also a lower low over here, signifying a reaccumulation. I guess I can probably see that on the 10-second. Yep, there is a low over here, and that gets liquidated, and from there it creates a DMB. Yeah, I would say this was pretty good. Yeah, almost perfect. Perfect entry. Well, mm. Oh yeah, I also evaluated it on the 10-second, the reaccumulation itself. Here you can see where I marked up the liquidity graphs and everything. I mean, the lows being liquidated, the reaccumulation itself. And yeah, actually, yeah, this is a really nice entry. So just the E, of course. The E is beautiful, but the rest is kind of trash. So I'm ultimately going to call this a mistake. Not too happy about that. Like so far, two mistakes, uh, two times too early, I would say. But hey, this is every mistake that that I deem to be a mistake based on my rules is a potential valuable lesson. So that's how I'm going to approach this. No point being sad that I made mistakes. Shit happens, you know. I'm still a student. So yeah, this was all too early. Okay, let's mark that up. So how did I manage this trade in the first place? So it went a little bit higher and not enough strength for me. I drew in this line and I was like, okay, if price liquidates this level, I'm gonna go risk free, but it doesn't, and it gives me -1. So also I write here slip both on entry and exit, so this is more like a -1.5. Oh, okay, sheesh, that sucks. Maybe this was a good reason not to trade it overall. Let's take a look. That's a 60. Yeah, yeah, definitely. 100%. Should not have traded this. Should not have traded this. I was too early. Kinda stage one. Okay, so overall this trade is a mistake. It's a mistake. Why? Because I was too early and it was a stage one. Yep. So context is bad. Stage one, too early. 6 minute itself, uh, I would say momentum fizzled. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's also definitely not good. I'm not even gonna call it questionable. It's just straight up ugly because momentum fizzled. And 1 minute is perfect. Good entry. Okay, management wise, nothing to do. So that's it. -1. Definitely avoidable. Okay, next up. Next up, we have a trade on gold. I'm just gonna sip my drink. All right. So clearly a very strong trend. One thing to check is if it's overextended or not. And on the 4 hour, I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to this stuff. Like, I wouldn't say this is overextended. Most importantly, because we had reaccumulation over here. So this is pretty much a new momentum cycle. And what do we have here? We probably just have MB1, and here it can continue. So yeah, strong trend, not overextended. What do we have on the V? So we have a strong stage two over here. And in order for me to like this by itself, this momentum cycle is overextended, right? I need to see a flush. And now the question is this a flush? Is this a reset? And I would say it is because there is lows liquidated over here, and any form of reaccumulation and liquidity grab is fuel for continuation, and a reaccumulation by itself is a reset for me. So here, I would say this was the reset, this whole thing, and now we have a new momentum cycle. And we have our first strong move, and here we already liquidate a low, so this is most definitely a valid MMB for me. Let's just take a look how this looks on the 1 minute. I think this is yet another V, right? And well, what happens over here is we break higher. This is MMB1, MMB2, and here it comes back for a flush and a reaccumulation. And let's take a look at the 10-second. So this stage two, quite strong. So is this one. So when this comes back and gives me a nice DMB, I think I should take it. And here, okay, we get this. Liquidate all of this stuff for potentially a spring. And from here we have a strong buy button and a DMB. I honestly think this is fine. There's something about it that like makes me think it's not perfect. Just good. Probably this part. This whole thing is a little bit wiki, honestly, but it's not too bad. Like there's these pops, right? These moves. That looks decent. Well, I can't quite tell. Something about this I don't like too much. I'm not sure if to a level um, where I would call it a mistake. I mean, I definitely see why I traded this and how it follows my rules. It's just that, like, in terms of cleanliness, is this really a good move? Is this consistent? It's quite a big sell. And if it's a spring, even if it comes into a demand zone or if it liquidates, if it's a spring, if it gives me a nice DMB, I should take it. And maybe what I actually don't like is that this is possibly an MB3 entry. But then again, nah, it's probably not. Like, you know what? I actually want to check this like on the 15-second because I think on the 15-second this is gonna look absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna do that. So when did I take this? This was September 8th, 1509. Okay. So gold, and let's go here. September 9 at 15. Let's do 1510 because that's exactly where my trade should be. Is it? This looks a bit weird. September. Oh, it's September 8th. September 8th, 1510. Okay, there we go. And let's go to a first, let's select this bar, which is the bar that entered me, which is here. Okay, and now let's go to the 15-second. And 15-second, yeah, I mean, looks pretty amazing. Yeah, I would say this was a good entry, definitely. Okay, and so let's evaluate this whole thing. So strong trend. Yep. This is a oops. This is a stage one breakout on good momentum. We Yeah, basically the whole like discussion about this trade is whether or not this can be considered a valid MMB, and I would say it most definitely can. So yeah, that's that. And this is a pullback into the rising EMAs, right? So this was MB1, this is MB2. So one thing that's like a little questionable is that this is an MB3, and I usually like to trade only MMB1 and MMB2, right? So I do allow myself to trade MMB3 sometimes, but only if it's like really, really convincing. And for some reason, I just keep looking at this price action over here, and I'm like, ugh, this is not too convincing. But at the same time, if this is all part of a stage one, it's expected to be wiki, right? It's literally in liquidation mode. But then, as it reaches above, it really does show a lot of strength and one-sidedness. So, and that's kind of what I'm expecting in a markup, right? So the price behavior really changes a lot from here to here. So I actually do like it. I think it looks great. And this, so wait, so first of all, this is strong momentum or good momentum. Okay, and this is, well, I would say it's a perfect entry. So yeah, overall, I think this was a good trade. I'm gonna call it a perfect trade. All right, so let's check it out. How did I manage this? So I get tapped in, and after this strong candle, I reduce risk. All right, makes sense. And then I wanted to go higher to reduce risk completely. It's gold, so I reduce risk twice. You can see, yeah, this is a spread loss. This is like a minus zero point 0.2 spread loss. Yeah. And I think that's perfect. Perfect management. So overall, this was a spread loss, and I would say it was perfect. All the way from the context. Lower. Was this a stage one breakout, by the way? Yeah, it was. Doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. So good momentum over here, 10 second, perfect entry, management, perfect. Yup, nice. Okay, that's all. And then I have a lesson over here about Anton's trend reversal. So I watched the webinar recently, and I just wanted to see how Anton changes his trend direction. And here, if I bring this into Miro, just so I can draw into it, and here I have like so the way he explains it, right? Let me go black. So for him, he has a distribution over here, and then it falls down. And here, as it goes sideways, he expects reaccumulation, right? So something like this is expected. But the moment that it creates another stage one and it breaks down, that's when he becomes full on bearish on this candle. And I have exactly the same understanding where, well, here we have a beautiful stage one already, but sometimes what happens instead of like a top like this, it can be a top that is like V-shaped, then it comes back, then it starts it sideways, right? And we already expect that this whole thing was the distribution, and then as it falls down, I also follow over here. And I think I have that written somewhere. I think I have that written here. Yes. This is my trend reversal thing, and it works exactly the same. So I just wanted to confirm that with him. So what do I write here? At this point, Anton is bearish. There is a clear distribution on top of that high. Yep, there it is. Price breaks down on the sideways price action. We assume react. Yep, so we're just sidelined. At that point, we still assume react, but wait for a new MMB. Yeah, and price goes sideways again. And as it breaks down, this time we're bearish. Yep, makes sense, makes sense. And ooh, I should not have done that. Oh, right, it's a didn't take. It's a didn't take. Okay, okay. So I know that this is going to be a win. I'm just wondering if it's this one, the next one. Let me just see. Is this the same trade? Yes, it is. And it's one that I didn't take. All right. Well, I should not have known that it's a win. It kind of sucks, but I think I can evaluate it even knowing that. So anyway, here it is. It's gold, right? Strong trend. I mean, I already talked about it before, but where the heck is my pen? There it is. Oop. So this was a reset for me. So this was MMB1. I'm expecting this to go way higher, like no problem at all. So this was a strong trend. Okay. And here, what do we have? So we have a stage one over here, breakout, MMB1, MMB2. Perfect. These two areas are exactly where I want to trade. This is amazing. Yes. Good momentum. So far, I really like it. And here we have the 1 minute. So what do we have? We have a previous stage two, right? Breaks down, accumulation stage one. That's exactly what I expect. I probably looked for an entry here, didn't get anything. Comes back, has a big flush. So already here, I would assume reaccumulation and continuation. But then as it breaks higher, it just kind of liquidates the high and big sell into it. But it comes down and it creates a stage one. And here it breaks out higher, pulls back into the rising 1020. Kind of a good place to trade, but really don't like this. Really don't like this. That's like a pretty significant sign of loss of momentum. So, I mean, I understand why I'm trading it. Also, it's really wicky. Like, this whole thing over here is wicky as fuck, making me think that this whole thing looks like a distribution pretty much. Doesn't look too much like a continuation. Like, if it wanted to continue, it would have continued here, right? Or at least if it went higher and then pulled back to trade it. But this kind of, I don't know. I feel like the momentum really fizzled out here. But yeah, either way, I understand why I traded this area, especially like after we went down here, there was a really nice stage one, and this was a nice MMB. So if anything, this would be like the last area where I would be willing to take a trade. And then what do we have here on the 10-second? This is the entry itself. No, 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 this is a 1 minute entry. Okay, this is a 1 minute entry. That makes sense. So here on the 10-second, I probably just evaluated whether there were some lows liquidated, and there most definitely were. So this is a reaccumulation in itself. That's good. So this is a 1 minute entry. Mm, mm, I think it's all right. I think it's all right. It's not perfect, but I think it's a good entry. But yeah, this really is one of those entries where it's kind of the last point where I'm willing to enter. It's like I have a reaccumulation, right? Breaks down and then it starts going. My expectation is, of course, this into new highs. But if it doesn't and it starts going back, I will probably, like, this is the low of the sell-off of the reaccumulation. And as long as we are above this level, I'm technically valid to go long, especially like if there is a demand zone over here. I'm I'm okay with any setup that basically appears somewhere over here, whether it happens above and I get a DMB confirmation, or whether it happens after it touches the demand zone and I get a DMB confirmation, or, and this is the last, absolutely last point where I'm willing to trade it, if it liquidates this with a spring, and from here I get a very strong reaction, and I'm willing to trade this, right? That's kind of like my rules that I have around this. And here, does that actually apply? Well, we have this move, right? This is the low of the reaccumulation. We never go lower than that. We come back into the demand zone itself. We create a little stage one here, and from there we have a strong DMB confirmation. So actually, this is fine. This is okay. So I'm gonna call this trade good. Well, one last thing that I'm gonna do here is evaluate the preceding stage two, whether I'm even like valid to look for a trade here. And well, honestly, I think it's fine. It's very strong. The wicks here, I mean, yeah, like some sells came in here, but that's expected. So honestly, yeah, I think this trade was good. I should have taken it. Good. Might even go as far as saying it was perfect, to be honest. Perfect. Yep. And how would I have managed? So I didn't take this because it doesn't look like my best winners. Yeah. The E had its chances and it didn't go. I'd say at that point momentum fizzled out. Yeah, I understand where I'm coming from, but after deeper analysis and after realizing that thing with that setup that I talked about with the lowest low and the setup being valid above that, yeah, I reevaluated and I actually think this was a perfectly fine trade. So after this candle, I would be, well, risk-free. I would probably just reduce risk. And so that was this candle. It came back and I would be completely risk-free after this. I guess because I didn't take it, I didn't go as in detail with that. But yeah, this ended up being a nice +5. And it runs to break even after 5.77. So quite a tight catch. Nice. Should have taken this. All right. So didn't take. Should have taken. Mistake. Okay. Why didn't I take? Because it didn't meet rules. All right. Well, it did. So 60 minutes was most definitely in good context. 6 minutes was in very, very good momentum. And 1 minute was a good entry. Management wise, that was perfect. So yeah. Mistake because I didn't take it. All right, and that's all for Monday. Cool. Let's take a look at the reflection. Maybe NAS 100 trade was a bit early. NAS 100 trade, which one was that? That was this one. Yep, yep. maybe too early, I agree. Felt a bit mad that I didn't take the winning gold trade, but I think it actually wasn't a good one. Nope, it was a good one. So overall, executed quite well. Actually, didn't execute too well, to be honest. Like, I took a trade I wasn't supposed to, and I didn't take a trade that I was supposed to, so not the best. Not the best. Already gonna probably write this down here so I remember. Okay, what went bad? Took a trade I wasn't supposed to. Didn't take a trade I was supposed to take. Alright. So let's move to Tuesday. So what do we have here? We have the NAS 100 here again. So I don't think anything changed here, did it? What is this? So this was a flush. Yeah, nothing changed here. This is the same context. Should not have traded this. Most definitely should not have traded this. Same thing. Boop. Gonna mark that up. Stage 1. And yep, would have liked to trade over here. But let's evaluate the rest of the trade as well to see if that was at least good. So we have some strong move over here that reaccumulates. Nice flush, and from there, big move again. Very wicky over here, and then it moves a bit higher. So let's just check that out. Whatever happens here, I don't care. I care about the consistency and cleanliness of this move. So here, this looks like a pretty clear buy button and a sell-off back into the rising 1020 EMA. So far, I really like this. And here on the 10-second, let's evaluate the strength of this move. That's a very strong move. Here it reaccumulates, takes some lows. That's a reaccumulation, and then there's a strong move, leaving behind inefficiency that looks like a nice MB1 from over here, and this is an MB2. Some lows liquidated, which makes it quite nice, and yeah, I think this trade was nice. Yep, I like this trade. Well, sorry, I like the V and the E. I don't like the C. So everything except for the C. So ultimately I should not have taken this, but from here on it was pretty good. So good momentum here. Okay, good momentum here as well. And yeah, this was pretty much a perfect entry. Boom. All right. So overall, it's a mistake. Ooh, quite a few mistakes, but that's just what happens when I like misjudge a C. There's going to be like every trade that I take on that C is going to be a mistake ultimately, right? And that kind of sucks. But yeah. So here we have Tuesday. I'm actually not going to read anything yet. I just see that there were no news, and I had 4 things on my watch list. Cool. So this is the NAS 100 trade. It's a mistake because I was too early in a stage 1. So 60 minutes, ugly, and everything after that was nice. So management-wise, let's take a look. Was a little bit hesitant, shuffled the E time frame a bit, but decided it looked clean. Okay, so I get into the market and I reduce risk on this candle. All right, makes sense. And now I probably want to see this pull back and rise higher, creating fractal structure for me to reduce risk completely. Yep, that's what happens pretty much with this candle, and then breaking higher. I just take the screenshot a little bit later. Cool. And then it comes back to break even. So management-wise, this was perfect as well. So yeah, it's a break even. Okay. moving on, I got a crypto trade over here on Kaito. So this is pretty much like a stock play, I guess you could see. And yes, here's some kind of state, blah blah blah, some kind of selling, right? And all of a sudden, big move. This looks pretty much the same as many of Anton's stock trades, right? So it should be pretty overwhelmingly clear that this is accumulation. Here we have on the V the big move and a pullback into the rising 1020. So let's take a look how that looks on the E. Big move, right? Reaccumulation a little bit longer. All I'm waiting for is strong reignition and basically the DMB, right? Because the first ignition, the MB1, here I still assume, okay, this is probably redistribution and this can continue lower. But if it pulls back, creates a valid MMB, which it does for me because it even liquidates a low, then if it goes above this, it should continue higher, right? It's the direction. So yeah, this was, in my opinion, an absolutely perfect trade. Love it. So good context. Here, strong momentum. And here, I would say this was a perfect entry. All right, that makes it a perfect. But I think it ends up being a loss, right? So let's check it out. Yep, -1, pretty much instantly. But it's okay. I like the trade. So this was perfect. Actually, I have to do this. Okay, cool. And then I have one more trade lower on gold. So gold still the same. Okay, so this is a 60-minute. Okay, same context, right? So MMB1, MMB2, this is MMB3. So I still think this can have a pop and go higher easily. So this is a strong trend. And it's not overextended. So what do we have here? We have some kind of move, starts reaccumulating, right, and breaks into a new range. Does that on very strong momentum, and I would say this is the stage 1, or maybe I see there is also like a lot of highs over here, and they line up with this. So I guess this is the first MMB for me, right? But I don't know, man. This could possibly be the stage 1 over here, and this is already MMB1, MMB2, MMB3, and this. Uh, wait, and this is the move out of it. Okay, I see. I'm thinking maybe this is overextended, but I think it's still okay. I think this is like the last moment where I would be willing to take trades. So not too bad. Not too bad. Kinda alright. So here on the 10-second, this is the actual entry. Strong stage 2, pulls back, and this move looks pretty strong. Looks like a reignition, most definitely. Could be cleaner though. Like, it's kinda choppy. But there is some inefficiency left behind. Yeah, kind of choppy. Could definitely be nicer. But then, oh, right. I see. This is one of these entries. It's one of those entries where it goes and it creates the ICI within an MMB that I expect. So yeah, this makes total sense. This is a DMB on like a 2-second or 3-second, something like that, right? This is almost where the 10-second is another V, but I already know how the setups look fractally on the V, so I can take it. Yeah, this makes sense. Okay, so stage 1 breakout. Good momentum. Okay, good momentum here. And I'm gonna call it a good entry. Not perfect. Good because, well, it's a little bit choppy. Could be better. But still alright. And what does this end up being? So I get tapped in, I reduce risk over here. Okay. I guess this one candle was not enough for me. I wanted to see a little bit more. Makes sense. And here it creates fractal structure, goes to risk free. Beautiful. And this is a BE, but got slipped on the way out, so it's more like a minus 0.3. Okay, well, that sucks a bit, but what can you do? So, boop, 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 BE. Tags. Mm, it's good. So, great context, good momentum. This is all right, 10-second entry, so good momentum and good entry. Yeah, but I need to also say it's a bit choppy. So, choppy. There we go. I think there's nothing else to add. Our management was perfect. So yeah, that was Tuesday, and I seem to not have any reflection here. All right. So moving on, we have Wednesday. One trade on Wednesday. Let's take a look. And this is on a crypto. So this is the whole chart, right? We had some move down, and then it started going sideways a little bit. And I would say this is an accumulation MB, and we broke out of there, created an MMB, and now we are breaking above. So this is in a beautiful trend and can most definitely continue. Beautiful context. Love the context. Uh, Beautiful context. Makes 100% sense. All right. Here we are. We have a stage one, right? That's this MMB on the daily, and yeah, go sideways, 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 and all of a sudden, a huge, huge move out of there and a pullback to the rising 1020. Beautiful, perfect, good momentum. Stage one breakout. I like to have stage one breakout first. Okay, and here we have the E. What do we have on the E? So this is the stage one, and this is the first MMB, and I buy stop the MMB. It's even better that it liquidated this low. That means it's also a reaccumulation. That's perfect. This stage two, previous stage two, is beautiful, very strong, one-sided, and the flush is nice. The whole reaccumulation is very consistent. I love it. This is a perfect entry. So I'm going to give this trade a perfect. By the way, what did I say about this trade? I think I said it was good, right? Good, yo, good, and perfect over here. Cool. How do I manage? This looks great. Okay, I am risk-free on the second candle, showing significant strength away from my entry. And here, if this ends up being a win, it will only be plus 3.5 R because I didn't have enough available margin. Okay, and I had to send some more funds on Hyperliquid. Yeah, I remember that. I basically didn't have enough leverage, so I sent some more money in so that next time this is not a problem. And this ends up being a beautiful winner. And I think it was an overnight trade, so I woke up to this. That was nice. But I have to be honest with myself, and I have to write down that this is only a plus 3.5. All right, so that's that. Tax, this was perfect. Win. Good context. Good momentum. Good entry. Perfect management. Cool. So here you can see I put in the red news as proof that I created the alerts for myself. I have to screenshot them. That was my watch list and reflection. Ended up taking a single trade on pump. Had to leave it overnight. Not much else set up for me. Yep, beautiful. All right, and then I have one more trade on Thursday, and I didn't trade on Friday at all. So let's take a look. It's a UK 100 trade. All right. So what do we have? We have a stage one and a breakout higher, and then it pulls back quite deeply into like where it was very, very inefficient. And here it kind of accumulates, I guess. Like it's really choppy, really, really choppy around here. So I would say this whole thing was like a stage one. Then it breaks higher, big pullback, really big pullback, like making this whole move very, very, very choppy. And here it moves a little bit higher. Already, I can tell I don't really like this. Like, if this was to be a reaccumulation and a continuation higher, I would like this to no longer pull back so much again. Like, it shouldn't be pulling back this much to immediately go for another reaccumulation after this little move. This should have a momentum cycle. This should just go. And I guess that's what I'm arguing, that the momentum cycle is going to start here, but like, nah, I don't know. I think this is too early. I think this is weak. Weak trend. And I don't know. I should not have traded. Ugly context. I don't like it too much. So here we have the 6 minute. Okay, we have some kind of stage one, a final spring, and then a strong move higher with a pullback into the rising 1020. Makes absolute sense why I would want to trade this. This makes a lot of sense. So it's a stage one breakout on good momentum. Okay, and how does this look on the E? So we have this strong move, very strong, so it's stage two. I like that. And then it starts reaccumulating over here, right? Lows are being liquidated, pretty nice. Goes below the EMAs. And then from here, it does an MB1 and an MB2. Ugh! This is a 10-second entry? Oof, no, brother, this is not good. I don't like this. This MB1 validation is super, super weak. Super weak. What the fuck? I did write some text here into one of them. Let me find that and copy it. I don't want to do the whole thing again. Hello? Where was that? Really? Oh man. Alright, whatever. I have to do it. So, boop. Make it small. Smaller. And white. Alright, cool. So, weak. Dude. Yes. Weak MB1 validation. Definitely. This was bad. This is a 1 minute entry, so I actually have to write it here. Make this even smaller, please. Even smaller. Alright. Weak MB1 validation. No imbalance or no inefficiency. That's a crucial part of my entry. So, yep, this was bad. Ugly entry. Okay, so ultimately that makes it a mistake, and I should not have taken it. Mistake. Alright, and mistake for two reasons, actually. The C, I don't like the C. Like, this is choppy, ugly, not impulsive. Too much supply in the market. I don't like it. Like, trading it over here, for example, and over here was really okay. But after this, like, I don't see any point. Maybe over here. Maybe, because we expect, okay, well, whatever chop was happening here, as we move out of here, and if this is on good momentum, then trading here and trading here makes total sense. But yeah, this is very much not convincing. This one was beautiful, like the V makes total sense, but the E is also very weak. So, do I write anything about this trade here? It's Thursday, UK. Okay, I didn't take it actually, because it was not on my watch list. Okay. Well, maybe there's a reason why it wasn't on my watch list. Totally missed it. Would be risk-free here. I remember that like somebody else took that trade on UK 100, and I was like, damn, maybe I should have taken it too. But now looking at it, probably not, because I know that I spent like significant time creating my watch list. So if it was good, it would probably had been there, right? And it wasn't. So actually, didn't take was good. I was not supposed to take it. Nice. Anyway, it would be risk-free after this. Yep, it liquidates the fractal structure, and then it comes back to break-even. So didn't really miss on anything. So it's a break-even. Didn't take. Yep. And why didn't I? Yeah, not on my watch list. All right. Was the right decision to not take this. See, context is ugly and entry too. So, good, good. All right, and that's all the trades. It's all the trades. So I can now probably delete this, I guess, or keep it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this just yet. But let's go here. What went well? What went well? Let's first do what went bad. That's better. So I have a mistake here. What was the mistake? Yeah, didn't rule out redistribution, right? Took one trade I wasn't supposed to take and didn't take one I was supposed to take. I see. So cool. This was a stage 1 thing. That was pretty bad. Gold trades were really good. All of them, I think. Gold trades were good. NAS 100 trades were pretty much all mistakes, yeah. Kaito trade was good. Gold trade was good again. Pump trade was good. UK 100 trade was not good. Okay. And yeah, that one trade on gold that I was supposed to take. That's sad that I didn't. That's the win. That's this one. So I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this and include it here. I was supposed to take this trade. Yeah. This is a nice entry. Okay. And well, other than that, what went well? The gold trades were perfect. I followed momentum really well. The crypto trades were really nice. I followed them just like stocks. So I'm gonna write that down actually. Crypto trades were good. Looked like Anton's stock trades. Gold trades were good. All right. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And what else can I say here? What else is there to learn and correct? Yeah, really, like, even though I'm already quite patient, I need to be even more patient. Like, especially with the context. I need to really evaluate and only trade those contexts that really, really like make sense and are not choppy. It's not like, yeah, this could go. No, I just like comparing NAS 100 that is trapped in this bullshit with this huge sell-off creating an ugly range. Compare that to gold, which is clear as day that it's trending. And as long as it's not overextended, this is where I should be taking trades. This is like a move that is constantly demanded higher and higher, right? So yeah, compared to that to these trades as well, where like there's an absolutely overwhelming move happening, and the moment it starts reaccumulating and reignites, that's when I jump on the train, right? That's beautiful. The pump trade was also absolutely beautiful. This one, yeah, that's ugly. All right, so with all that done, let me just see how I filled this out. Okay, reflection. There was a UK 100 trade that I should have taken, would turn out to be a BE. Actually, I shouldn't have. Followed NAS 100 for a bit, but to be honest, it looked ass, so I didn't take any trades. Yep. Won't be able to trade tomorrow. Okay. Cool. So if I go into the results, my weekly analysis, I'm up 0.2, but actually this is not true. I'm down a little bit because, well, I got slipped a couple of times, and that win that I had ended up being just a 3.5 instead of a 5. So this is not completely accurate. But anyway, these are the results that I actually took, and if I was to trade perfectly, week 37, if I was to trade perfectly on week 37, I I would be up 6.6, which again, I wouldn't be because that one win was smaller, but I would have captured another gold win and I would have weeded out some losses, especially those NAS trades. So pretty much I would have traded just gold the entire week and 2 crypto trades, and that would have been good. So makes sense. Um, that those UK 100 and NAS 100 trades, those contexts were not good. That's important for me to realize. So yeah, overall could have been up quite a nice chunk, like maybe +5 some stuff. But it's okay. Once again, like I'm a little bit wiser and hopefully I'm gonna perform better next week. Yep. So I'm wondering if there's anything else that I should do right now. Well, I am probably going to fill out the forward test thingy. So 1034. The last trade I had was the gold at 1534. Okay, and since then I had another crypto trade. So this crypto September 9 at 1406, and that ended up being a win. But it actually wasn't a 5, it was 3.5. And then one of the losses, I think, ended up being bigger. I can't quite remember. Let me just see. What was that? No, not this. -1. Slipped, so it's -1.5. Okay, so the NAS 100 trade is -1.5. Okay. And I think there was one more slippage problem. It was a spread loss. Huh? Wait a second. Which trade is this? September 1509. 1509. Okay, this is a spread loss. This is not a -1, bro. -0. No, no, no. Yeah, actually. -0.2. All right. So this is an ASBE. Reduce it, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not it. I'm pretty sure there is one more. One more slippage problem. Here. Okay, so this is the gold BE at 1534. Gold BE at 1534. So here, instead of a 0, it's like a -0.3. Okay, cool. And I also need to include commissions. Commissions are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades, so -1.6. Make the yellow. All right, and we are done with all of this. So overall, I'm pretty much where I started at the beginning of the week, I would say. So if I go into the analysis now, yeah, makes sense. Still looking very good though. It was a break-even week overall, but some valuable lessons, and I'm looking forward to next week. It's gonna be fun. All right. As always, if any of this sparks any thoughts in you and you want to discuss trading, no matter what it is, do let me know. Tag me in the chat in Trade Talk or DM me. I'm always open to that. I wish you guys a nice weekend and see you in the markets. Peace.